All right, it is March 20th, 5:45 p.m. and we're going to call this Finance Committee meeting to order. Present are council members Lang, Barker, Ottinger, Hauser, and Marmee. First item is to let you know the unappropriated balance of the general fund is $2,422,745, and the cash balance of the budget stabilization fund is $1,259,830. First item on the agenda is a request for an appropriation in the amount of $57,468.16.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Back in January of this year, council passed ordinance 2256, which created the position of criminalist within the police division. So we're here tonight to ask for the funding so we can fill that position. What does a criminalist do? Well, it does a variety of important jobs for the police department: crime scene processing, fingerprint analysis, drug analysis. The list goes on and on. All those are vital, but they don't necessarily have to be done by a sworn police officer, which is the situation we're in right now. We have a sworn police officer who's filling the role of criminalist. He's notified us that he's going to be retiring in the near future. So our plan is, with council's approval, to hire a civilian into that position. It's probably going to take about 1.5 years to get that person fully trained and up to speed. Have them ready to go for when this officer retires, and that uniform, that badge is going to go back out on the street. So that's kind of the long range vision of this. I said, Chief's here. You got upset.
I mean, you just say we'll put another officer on the street. Everyone's done.
Is that my walk-off music?
Yeah.
All right, so we have a motion by Lang, second by Barker. Any questions and or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor send us on full council, signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. That motion passes 5-0. Thank you. Thank you, Director. Next item on the agenda is a request for appropriation amount of $219,336.70.
Yes, along the lines of putting more officers out on the streets. That's what this request for appropriation is about. When this year's budget was finalized, there were 4 positions within the police division that didn't get funded. We have those bodies, we have those people that want to come here and want to work. We just need to get the funding to get them through the end of this year. 3 of those officers will be going to the police academy in Columbus, which starts in May. So there is a little bit of urgency to get them on board, and the other one will be a lateral transfer.
Motion. Second.
Motion by Barker, second by Lang. Any questions and or comments? Mr. Barker.
Mr. Chair, if they have the need, we don't need to fund. So ones that are going to the academy, they're going to start in May, correct?
Yes, well, that's when the academy starts. We need to bring them on board early so that we can get them through orientation and get them the necessary gear and stuff.
We don't need to expedite any of this. Make that deadline.
No, financial issues don't wait 30 days.
Okay.
So we just, yeah,
Just wanted to confirm. Thank you.
certainly. Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor send us on full council, signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. The motion passes 5-0. Thank you, Director.
Thank you very much.
Next item on the agenda is a request for appropriation in the amount of $395,000.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The city's got an opportunity to bring 2 pieces of property into our portfolio. The first one is on the corner of Cedar and West Main. It's not the whole piece, it's just a cut off the piece so we can add a turn lane there sometime in the future. This is next to Blessed Sacrament. We're working with the church to to get that in. It's approximately $35,000. The engineer went out there and staked it out, put it there. When corners are available, we try to buy what we can for future widening, and this is just that case.
Call for a motion.
Second.
Motion by Lang, second by Hauser. Questions and or discussion?
I was just gonna make sure all we've heard was from the $35,000 one. Okay. Are we voting? We're not voting separately?
We can do them together.
They are together.
Okay, and then the second piece of property is catty corner here from City Hall. It has been known as the first federal parking lot where people can rent spaces. That lot became for sale. There's approximately 53 spaces in there. There's also a storage building behind it that comes with this. Why we want to buy that is we do have employees that are parking on the gravel lot and what I would call the old Newark Advocate site. That lot is in contract. We're hoping construction will begin there sometime late summer, early fall. And Doug, you've been involved in a few of those conversations. So we want to make sure we've got a place to park the remainder of our employees. And of course, it'll be public parking at night.
Is that a question?
Yes.
The building that's on site, we have plans or anything?
No, we're gonna go in and look at it once we own it. As they do the arcade, Robertson might use it a little bit. We've had preliminary discussions just for storage and parts and pieces.
I said a little more comment.
Sure, sir.
I've had a lot of residents reach out and comment, they wish we had another turn lane right there on Cedar, so I appreciate you, having a foresight.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Any further questions and or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor, send this on full council signify by saying aye. Those opposed, same sign. That motion passes 5-0.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is a request for appropriation amount of $140,000.
Yeah, this is professional services. We want to enter into a contract to extend our riverbank filtration project that we've been working on. For a couple reasons. One, we want to look at the capacities that we have available because there's a company coming in town here, possibly in the other section of Lincoln County. And so we want to see what our capacities are for that. But also as we look at that process up there and our watershed is up that direction and there's people possibly taking water. And so we want to make sure we have a good documentation of how much water we have. So that if there's ever issue of us losing some capacity, we kind of know where that could establish that. So that's what this project is going to be about is what capacity we still have come in and what we can put out. So that's what this one is for. So.
Motion.
Second. Motion by Barker, second by Lang. I'm glad you didn't mention Chick-fil-A by name. Any questions and or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor send this on full council signify by saying aye. Those opposed, same sign. That motion passes 5-0. Thank you, Roger. That's your last duty for us? For us. Maybe.
One more meeting here.
One more meeting with us, okay. Next item on the agenda is a resolution authorizing and directing the Director of Public Service of the City of Newark, Ohio to participate in the Sourcewell Cooperative Purchasing Program.
I can speak to that. I'm Lindsay Brighton, the Stormwater Coordinator, in case you didn't already know. Sourcewell provides a cooperative purchasing service to government entities and nonprofits. So if we were to participate in this, it makes the procurement process easier, and they have already negotiated the lower prices for things such as a salt barn, which is what started this whole process. So we need to get the salt piles covered down at the street department as part of the stormwater EPA requirements to the state. So I was looking at salt barn prices, and in order to not have to bid it out, we can go through the Sourcewell service and go with the first quote that we got for the salt barn down there. So that's what this source well is. A lot of governments are going to it. The city of Lancaster recently passed legislation to get to do it down there. So it's free to us. The vendors and the suppliers who participate have to pay a fee to source well. So that's how that works. If you have any more questions, I can try to answer them. I'm not the expert on the source well, but that's kind of what started the process here. So it might open up a lot of things for the city, in addition to salt barns.
Motion.
Motion by Barker, second by Lang. Questions and or comments?
Just so I'm clear, so do they then go out and bid out?
Yeah,
Okay.
or they already have, so like vendors that go to them with prices. And those vendors are participating in the source well also. And they negotiate the lower wages.
On your behalf.
Yeah, from what I understand too.
All right.
Yes.
Thank you. And then maybe this is a question for the law director. Have we received terms or terms and conditions or anything like that from them? Or an agreement?
I haven't seen anything.
No, I was working with Caroline on this.
Okay. If we got something like that, it'd be helpful just as background to understand what we're doing before we go down that road.
Okay, I can try to find that.
Yeah. Thank you.
Very good. Any other questions and or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor of sending this on full council signify by saying aye. Those opposed, same sign. That motion passes 5-0. Thank you very much. And with that, this finance committee meeting stands adjourned. Next up is service.
Sorry, they took my agenda from me. All right, we'll call it a service committee meeting order. Those present, myself, Rath, Blind, Oninger, Barker, and Harris. Up first is resolution number 23-20. Cooperating with the Ohio Department of Transportation, ODOT, for the replacement of two deficient bridges on Mount Street and Jefferson Road over Log Pond Road and declaring an emergency.
Thank you, Mr.
Roads.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The emergency all has to do with legislation getting back to ODOT. ODOT's share in this is going to be a little over $1 million, and our share of this is going to be about $87,000. Our funding's coming from the license plate permissive tax. As you mentioned, we've got, this is an expedited piece of legislation. That's the final piece of legislation we need for ODOT to do these bridges.
When's the time frame?
When they get it
This
out,
is final, when will it be started?
well, it goes out to bid, and we'll work with contractors. So it'll depend on their schedules.
This year, next year.
We're hoping this year.
Motion.
Second.
Motion from Barker. Seconded by Oninger. Any other questions from the committee? Questions from the audience? Seeing none, all those in favor of passing this on to council, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. I'm gonna pass the motion 5-0. Up next, we have ordinance 23-07, an ordinance changing the zoning classification of certain real property generally described as 882 Wyatt Avenue City of Newark, Licking County, Ohio. Parcel tax ID number 054-226500-00.000 from that of the single family residence RH high density district to multifamily residence district zoning code of the city of Newark, Ohio.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. As normal, we just ask that you pass this on to the planning, council and the planning commission. So we can get a look at it and get an opinion on the zoning.
Motion.
Yeah, it's a little different. I was looking at it and it's been. For quite some time.
And full disclosure, I haven't come up with an opinion on it yet. These applications come in. This is a formality kind of coming through council to make the public aware. When it comes to planning commission, we hear the pros and cons. We take 30 days, the mayor, myself, Brian Moorhead, we'll talk about it a little bit. If there's a council person that connects their area, kind of like the Merchant Street group, we talk with them before we come up with an opinion.
Sounds great. Do I have a motion?
Second.
Motion by Barker, second by Harris. There are questions from the committee, questions from the audience. Seeing none, all those in favor of passing this on to council signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. That motion will pass 5-0. Up next, we have ordinance number 23-08, an ordinance changing the zoning classification of certain real property generally described as 281 Elmwood Avenue, City of Newark, Licking County, Ohio. Parcel tax ID number 054-27850-00.000 from that of single family residence RH high density district to TFR 2 family residence district zoning code of the city of Newark, Ohio.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. In the same case, we ask that you pass it on. I will say this, the mayor and I have spoke with Mr. Angus, the property owner. And I'm gonna go out after it comes to plan commission and walk the property and come up with an opinion then.
Motion. Second.
Motion by Line. Seconded by Honinger. Questions from the committee? Questions from the audience? Seeing none, all those in favor of passing this on to council, signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign.
Thank you.
Pass on motion 5-0. Thank you, Mr. Rhodes.
Thank you.
Up next, resolution 23-31, a resolution authorizing the director of public service for the city of Newark, Ohio to enter into a memorandum of understanding with the Licking County Soil and Water Conservation District.
That's me again. Okay, so the city has a MS4 stormwater permit with the state. And the EPA requires we have 6 minimum control measures that we have to fulfill each year. 3 of those minimum control measures are being fulfilled by the soil and water education folks. We had a previous MOU with them from 2011 and it was way old and outdated. So this just updates that and spells out specifically what they're going to do for us and what we're going to do for them.
Just for the record, only because you're relatively new, I want to make sure Janine gets everything correct. Just state your name.
Yeah, Lindsay Brighton, City of Newark Stormwater Coordinator.
It's fine, you got a question.
Yeah, what's an MOU?
Memorandum of Understanding.
Okay.
And the MCM that the EPA requires is a minimum control measure.
Okay.
Second.
We have a motion by Parker, seconded by Harris. Any other questions from the committee? Questions from the audience? Seeing none, all those in favor of passing this on to council, signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. That'll pass with a vote of 5-0. Next, we have resolution 23-32, a resolution authorizing the director of public service for the city of Newark, Ohio, and enter into a cooperative agreement with the Newark Development Partners and other affected property owners for replacement of the sewer line. Mr.
Yeah,
Lewis.
this is just authorizing the service director to enter into an agreement once we negotiate an agreement. But as you know, the arcade is being rebuilt. And it's a very, very, very old building, and we're finding some issues with some sewer lines over there that are interconnected into some other buildings, and we don't have provisions to hook into the system out in the streets. Because we didn't know all this interaction was going on before they started rebuilding this thing. And We don't really know where that's gonna end up in the end, but there's a few. Basically, what's happening is some private sewer are tied together, so we need, somehow the city's gonna get involved and say, okay, this is gonna be. Maybe part of this is gonna be a city line, or we're gonna assist in getting these together, because it's kind of like, you know, your sewer line is going through his property and it's going through our property, coming back to here, that kind of stuff. So we need to get an agreement put in place in case there's problems or whatever in the end, and so that's what this is all about. So
How is this gonna affect everything that we've done currently on Third, Fourth, Church?
hopefully not. That's why I want to enter into this agreement so that we can keep those things tied inside the buildings and then discharge them out into that's the current laterals that are already in place.
Awesome, okay. Any other questions from the committee? Question.
Second.
Motion by Parker. Second by Harris. Questions from the audience? Seeing none, all those in favor of passing this out of council, signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. That too will go to 5-0. That concludes the service committee meeting for this evening. And I believe includes all service, or sorry, all committee meetings for this evening. We'll reconvene again at 7 o'clock for normal city council.